Hello lovely students and welcome back to English with Lucy. Which should you use? Me too or so do I? Is it neither do I or neither do I? Is me either even grammatically correct? This video will answer all of your questions about so, to, neither or neither, and either or either. I have created a free PDF to go with this video. You will find all of the information from this lesson with extra examples and a link to some interactive exercises for further practice. To download this PDF, just click on the link in the description box, enter your name, your email address, and your English level. Then you sign up for my mailing list and the PDF will arrive in your inbox. After that, you will automatically receive my free weekly PDFs alongside my news, course updates, and offers. It's a free service. You can unsubscribe at any time with one click. Okay, back to the lesson. We are going to begin with a short quiz to see what you already know. Complete the sentences with me too, so have I, neither do I, and me neither. Did you notice I used both pronunciations there? Use each phrase once. The short phrases express the idea that something is also true for someone else. You're telling the speaker that you agree with what they have said and have had the same experience or feelings. It's like saying, I also. Ready? Here are your 4 sentences. I've been to Rome. I don't like black coffee. I hate flying. I haven't been to Paris. Which phrase can go with which sentence? Pause the video to think. Here are the answers. How did you do? Let's go through why we used each of those phrases, starting with number 1. I've been to Rome. So have I. Using so have I is more natural than saying I've been to Rome, I've also been to Rome. In positive sentences, we can use the structure so plus auxiliary plus pronoun to express the idea of also. In our example sentence, have is the auxiliary verb. I have been, so have I. If I say this phrase slowly, I pronounce it so have I. But in fast speech, many speakers drop the h sound, the h in have. So you might hear something more similar to so have I, so have I. Notice the linking w sound there and the weak form of the auxiliary verb have. So have I. Here are some more examples. I was delighted to hear Jolene got into university. So were we. Again, notice how I use the weak form of the verb here. So were we. So were we. In this example, the main verb is be. We can use be instead of an auxiliary verb in our short answer. The same is true if have is the main verb. You can see an example of that in the PDF. The link's in the description box. Another example. My daughter goes running most mornings. So does my son. In the first statement, there was no auxiliary verb. The sentence is in the present simple, so we use a form of do in the short answer. I should really go to bed earlier. So, what do you think? It's so should I. Here's the next example. Frankie could swim when she was only 2. So could my sister. My mum loves gardening. How can you answer to agree that my mum also loves gardening? It would be so does mine. We want to agree with the subject my mum, which contains the possessive adjective my. So we use the possessive pronoun mine rather than a subject pronoun. All right, let's go back to our first sentence about Rome. What if it had been in the negative form? I haven't been to Rome. You can't say, so have I or so haven't I? What would you say instead to express agreement? You would say, neither have I. Again, many speakers will drop the h or h sound here. Neither have I. I can also use a linking R sound to glide between the two vowel sounds more easily. Neither have I. And that brings us to the second statement in our quiz. I don't like black coffee. The answer, neither do I. When the main verb is negative, we use neither plus the auxiliary verb plus the pronoun. We don't say neither don't I. That would be a double negative and they aren't usually used in English. It's just neither do I. But before we go any further, I bet you're wondering about the pronunciation. Let's talk about it now. You can pronounce this word neither or neither. Both are correct. Use whichever pronunciation you feel more comfortable with. And to be totally honest, I use both. I switch between the two and I can't give you a rule about why I do that or when I use each pronunciation. Sometimes I say neither, sometimes I say neither. Pick the one that you like. Okay, let's see some more examples with neither or neither now. I won't be at the meeting tomorrow. Neither will I. I didn't like the film. Neither did I. We can't wait for Christmas. Neither can we. I used can instead of can here. Neither can we. Their kids almost never eat vegetables. Neither do ours. You saw the possessive adjective there, so we answered with the possessive pronoun ours or ours. You'll find a lot of English speakers saying ours in fast speech. All right, let's move on to talk about statement 3 from our quiz earlier in the video. I hate flying, and the answer, me too. So me too is an informal way to say I also hate flying. Here are some more examples. I really wanted to go to New Zealand. Me too. I was nervous before the exam. Me too. Now, we don't usually use other pronouns in short answers like this. For example, us too or him too. You will hear people use them, but they aren't really common. Remember, we can also use so plus auxiliary plus subject to agree with a positive statement. Let's look at those 3 phrases again. Can you respond to them using so? Pause to have a think. Are you ready for the answers? Great. Use do to agree with statements in the present simple and did in the past simple. In the third sentence, we just repeat the main verb to be. Simple. And now it's time to look at statement 4. I haven't been to Paris. Me neither. So me neither is the negative version of me too. We use it to agree with negative statements. Me neither and me too are much easier, right? We don't have to think about the correct verb to use. Here are some more examples with me neither. I'm not going on holiday this year. Me neither. I didn't like reading when I was younger. Me neither. Remember, we can also use the structure neither plus auxiliary plus pronoun to agree with negative statements. Neither am I. Neither did I. You might have heard people say me either rather than me neither. It's more common in American English than in British English, and it is considered grammatically incorrect by some people. It's often better to say me neither unless you're in a very informal situation with other people who prefer me either. Now that I've mentioned either, I think it's time to talk about how we usually use that word. Try to complete these sentences. I love the smell of fresh bread. I do. And I don't like spicy food. I don't. Here are the answers. I do too, and I don't either. So after a positive statement, we can use subject plus auxiliary verb plus to. And after a negative statement, we can add the same form with either. The auxiliary verb should be negative when it's followed by either. And note that just like with neither and neither, we can pronounce it either or either. These structures are more formal than me too and me neither. Here are some more examples. I'm learning French at the moment. I am too. Ruth's husband can't cook very well. Ruth can't either. We'll help if you need us to. Yeah, we will too. And I've put even more examples in the PDF. Okay, finally, let's see all of the structures together. What are the 3 short answers you could use to agree with each statement? I can speak Spanish. I can't speak Japanese. Pause the video to think. Are you ready? Let's start with I can speak Spanish. We have so can I, me too, or I can too. And with I can't speak Japanese, neither can I, me neither, I can't either. How did you do? We're at the end of the lesson now, and it's your turn. I want you to write a sentence about yourself in the comments and then respond to someone else with one of the short answers you've just learned. Interact with each other and practice what you've learned from this lesson. Check the comments to find out what my sentence is and respond to me if you agree. Don't forget to download the PDF for this lesson. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one.